Every moment in our lives offers us so many opportunities to grow, ascend, self-actualize. I remixed this old video of myself having a realization about how a news story taught me a lesson. Did you hear about Kanye West's post about Pete Davidson after Pete and Kim broke up? I think that looking at these cultural events and talking about them and thinking about them, the importance of that is not to blame the people, to say this person's right, this person's wrong, this person's crazy, this person deserves what they get. No. The importance of looking at these things is to learn about ourselves. How do we feel about it? And what does that say about us? So I have a quick story about my thoughts on this Kanye West situation. When I first saw it on Twitter, and I try to avoid Kardashian-related news because it just all seems so vapid to me, and it kind of makes me angry, to be honest. But this came up on my Twitter feed, and so I read it, clicked on it, being, a sheep, as I can be from time to time, curious. And my first thought was, God, Kanye West is such a child. He's so childish. And then I had an incident which opened my eyes to the reason that I project this childish judgment on people. This is what happened. Now, this doesn't initially come across as something that would be related to Kanye West, but stick with it. I'll make the point. I'll try to make this brief. So I went with a friend of mine, one of my very few friends, as I have avoidant personality issues, and I have a lot of trouble making friends and connecting with people and trusting people. So I went to this vegan street fair sort of thing with a lot of vegan food trucks with a friend of mine, my closest friend that I tend to trust the most, more than others. So he was ordering food from the food truck, and then we went to a table. There were all these outdoor tables, and they were communal situations. So, a bunch of people, you could just sit wherever at a big table with a bunch of people. So I sat down, and he sat, and he's like, oh, I'm going to go get drinks. Can you just wait here? Basically implying that I was going to hold a spot for him and I'll get the drinks. So I sat and I was on my phone and I wasn't paying attention. And it was a little bit uncomfortable, but a bunch of people came and sat down kind of quietly. I kind of didn't notice it, but then as soon as I saw that they were sitting there, I instantly became scared, and I did not want to say, oh, hey, can I just have one of these chairs? And my friend is getting drinks over there. Would have been pretty easy, right? But I had a moment. I had one of my sort of scared, shy, social anxiety type situation moments. And so then a bunch of people came and they were sitting at the table. There were no chairs left except for mine. And then I got up and I went to my friend who was at another truck getting drinks, and he was like, what happened to the table? I'm like, well, a bunch of people came over and I kind of didn't see them, and then it was too late. They were already sitting down and I felt bad. I didn't want to say, hey, I need a chair. I just felt kind of weird about it. And he got so mad. He was mad. And I initially tried to sort of say, hey, it's fine. We'll find another seat. Use the law of attraction. Just picture a seat. You'll just, get a seat, attract a seat. And he's like, oh, all you had to do was hold the chair. All you had to do was say, hey, I need one chair. And I was like, hey, it's fine. Let's just find chairs. And he kept going on, and he kind of was really mad for whatever reason. I mean, I can understand he was disappointed and mad and counting on me to do that. But he just kept going. He just kept going. And then we finally found these weird chairs that were sitting behind everything, but we just sat in them anyway. I'm like, okay, well, all right. And then he kept going on about it. And I was like, hey, just let go, let it go, move on, just let it go. And he just kept on and on. Like, oh, all you had to do was hold the seat. And I just shut down. It's this thing where I tried to be positive about it, but I just shut down. It's as an avoidant personality disorder, sufferer. I don't like to say sufferer, but I deal with avoidant personality disorders. So having someone get mad at me is always a big deal. Plus, I was judging myself for being scared to open my mouth and say something. That goes back to all kinds of issues of childhood, and a teacher telling me that in front of the class I hope you learn to open your mouth next year on the last day of school in front of the entire class, and embarrassing me even further. And, just having very, very few friends, and then this friend kind of, you feel betrayed by them, or you feel abandoned by them, like they don't like you because you're not living up to their standards. And I just shut down, and I was like, no, I'm not hungry now. So he bought all this food, and he was giving me the food, and I wouldn't eat the food, and I got really stubborn. And then he's actually is my housemate, so we live in the same house. So we got back to the house, and he tends to bring stuff home and just sort of put it on the counter in the kitchen, and I forget about it. And I usually see it, and I always put it in the refrigerator because you don't want the food to get spoiled, waste it. But I saw that he had left food on the kitchen counter, and then he was like getting comfortable and just like sitting on the sofa and just like relaxing. And my thought was, oh, I should really put that food in the refrigerator. He's gonna forget about it. But I didn't, because I wanted to be a little baby and child. I want to be a child, and just like, haha, he's gonna like leave that food out all night, and then it's gonna go bad, and he's gonna have wasted all that money. Haha, he deserves it. And yeah, then it just bothered me, and I just like held on to it, even though I had said I was letting go of it. Then the next morning, it just hit me, like when I had enough distance from the whole situation, it hit me like, what a childish thing to do. How childish was I? I was hurt. I could have said, hey, you really hurt my feelings. But, as an avoidant, expressing feelings is hard. But anyway, I just realized I was such a child. And then I realized that's the exact same thing I was thinking about Kanye West. How childish. And there it is. That's why that bothered me so much. It bothered me so much to see Kanye West doing something that I considered childish, because there's that part of myself that I hate. I hate that childish part of myself as well. So I project it onto others, and then it bugs me. So when I see somebody doing something that I consider childish, it bugs the crap out of me, because it reminds me of my parts of myself that I really don't like. That's how we learn from these cultural news, and I use that term loosely, news stories. And yeah, so I suggest, if you want to grow as a person, as a human, really look at your judgments. And there's something to judge every minute. But look at it, and maybe step away from it. It's hard in the moment, but when you really look at these things that we get so upset about, it really tells us a lot about ourselves. Don't waste your life.